Hey guys, what is up? Today I thought I'd talk a little bit more about sleep and why sleep is important and what are the benefits of having enough sleep and good sleep quality and what are the disadvantages if you don't have enough sleep for your workout, for your training, but also your mental state. So first of all, even if you're exercising or not, having enough sleep is really the key for a good well-being, that you feel rested, that you are not nervous, that you're not how do you say, easily annoyed by little things, and that you have more patience during the day with things that happen during your day, or people not reacting to you or in a certain situation as you want them to be. If you don't have enough sleep, we easily get annoyed by the most little things and minor things, and that is usually a sign that we didn't have enough sleep or good sleep quality. And our mental well-being, our sanity is just not good, and we freak out because of the smallest and tiniest thing. So this could be one sign of not having enough sleep, or you feel heavy, you feel drained, you feel fatigued, you feel like you're not able to be active, to perform on a good level, maybe mentally or physically, and you just feel like you're walking through sand, and everything feels heavy and hard. That may also be a sign of not having enough sleep. And I think sleep is super underrated and underestimated in our society. I think more than 30% of the population are sleep deprived, meaning they don't sleep enough, and sleeping enough probably usually means somewhere between 7 to 8 hours. That is enough sleep. Actually almost a third of the population doesn't sleep enough and has less than 7 hours, going down to 6.5 hours and less. And that's a huge problem for society, and also creates a lot of physical illness, but also mental illness. So it's a huge problem of our society, and I think a lot of people don't know enough about sleep and why sleep is important, and therefore I thought I'll talk about the importance of sleep in this video in general, but especially for training. So why is sleep important for training? So what our body does or used to do when we sleep, when we were children, we produce growth hormones, and when we were young, when we were not adult, those growth hormones helped us grow, bones, muscles, our brain, everything, But once you're grown up enough, those growth hormones, I think, what's the name? Sartotropin or something like that. I'll write it in the screen so you can read it and look it up. So these growth hormones really help us to build muscle and also to wire our brain overnight, and build actually a strong and lean muscle if we exercise during the day. And that brings me actually to my next point. The most important part of training is sleep. Everyone thinks the training itself, working hard, and the nutritioning and everything is very important. It is important, don't get me wrong, but the time when the body actually performs the growth, where the buildup happens and the reshaping of our body happens, that is actually overnight. It's not happening during the training or in the hours after. No, it's during the night while we sleep. That's when our body has time to recover, doesn't have to use energy for being awake and reacting to our environment. No, and during that phase of the day or the night, you could say, our body really has to has the time to relax and actually build our body, and do all the things that we told him to do. So what we basically do is during the day we set the impulses, we trigger our body to perform a certain action, but overnight he actually takes those triggers, those impulses, the data we actually gave him, and overnight the body does the hard work. And that's why sleeping is super important. And as a bodybuilder, as a runner, as a mountaineer, or whatever you're doing, sleep is really the key to success. Of course, the exercise itself and nutritioning and eating, that is all very important, but sleep, I think, is one of the most underrated factors or underestimated factors, but is probably the most important factor of them all. So having a good sleep, extremely important if you want to see progress, if you want to be stronger, if you want to have better results with your training, with your exercise. May it be running or may it be bodybuilding, weightlifting, whatever you're doing. Make sure that you have at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And sometimes for runners, for example, I know if you're running a lot, even 8 hours of sleep is not going to be enough if you're increasing your distance continuously. So some of you may say, man, Nordine, I'm having a hard time falling asleep. It's so tricky to go to bed early. I cannot manage it. I don't know. I have to stay up late, and my mind is racing when I'm going to bed, and I cannot go early to bed because of that. I completely feel you, and I also sometimes have the same problem, or used to have the same problem. So one thing, for example, is let's talk about the racing mind. For example, there's a lot of things you're thinking about. You're worried about life, you worry about a task, a test that is coming up, or a financial problem, an existential problem, a crisis, whatever it is. Those things can really prevent us from sleeping. We're going to bed early, we try to be reasonable, we go to bed early, and suddenly we cannot sleep because our mind is racing. So this is a huge problem and a huge deal, and a lot of people suffer because of that. And what people usually do then is they take some kind of medication that helps them sleep. The lighter forms are like Baldrian or lavender or stuff like that to help you sleep. This is what some people do, but it's not what I'm suggesting, but some people do that. Or some people really take hard and strong medication to actually find into sleep and actually get some good sleep, which I'm absolutely not a fan of. If you can do it without medication at all, even with that natural medication, you definitely should try that, I think. So what happens when you train, when you exercise, for example? I think our body produces, was it adenosine? And this is actually a hormone that makes us feel sleepy and makes us tired. So actually working out, exercising, running, lifting, whatever it is, helps us falling asleep. But be aware, don't do very high intensity exercising and training just short before you or just close to the time when you go to bed. No, make sure if you're doing high intensity training, do it earlier the day. And if you still want to do training late in the day, or I don't know, maybe an hour before you go to bed, then maybe it should be more something more relaxing, maybe a low intensity run or jog or walk, or maybe yoga or whatever it is. But try to not push your heart rate too high before you go to bed. Make sure that your heart rate is going down, because also what you actually do, or what your body does, is actually you find a low heart rate, and that way you can find your way into sleep. So maybe don't do the high intensity exercise just before you go to bed, but do something low intensity, or do the high intensity exercise during the day. And this actually builds a natural sleepy feeling, and that actually helps you in the end to go to bed and fall asleep, actually. And fun fact aside, coffee the caffeine in coffee actually blocks the receptors for that, what is it called, adenosine. Yeah, so what actually happens is that adenosine wants to connect with our neural network, simply speaking. But what coffee does, for example, it's just going in between the receptors and the adenosine, and it's blocking its effect for a while. So you can imagine what happens. All the adenosine is still in your body. What happens if the caffeine is getting out of your system or leaving the receptor? The whole sleepiness will eventually get to you. So I'm not saying coffee or caffeine is bad. It definitely has beneficial effects on your body, and that is scientifically proven. There's a lot of studies on that, but you should be aware of the fact that it's just like blocking the sleepiness for a while, but the sleepiness that is already accumulated in your body will eventually get to you and make you feel sleepy. Exercising or working out also helps you with your circadian rhythm, also known as your inner clock. That way you naturally, as I just described, you have the hormone that makes you feel fatigued and sleepy, and that tries to establish a natural sleeping cycle that when the sun is going down, you get more and more sleepy. You have a good rest for, 7 to 8 hours. Usually I would recommend 8 hours if you can. And then you have a normal wake up time, because by the time the melatonin and the adenosine, they leveled out eventually overnight, and you wake up naturally, and not because the alarm is waking you up. The game is completely different if you have children or you have a super stressful job. Then these things are not as easy, but maybe you can find a way to establish these routines, exercise and have a training and go to bed on a regular basis. This can, first of all, improve your mental health a lot. It improves your mood a lot, but also your physical health, your cardiovascular system, your heart rate, but also the effects of your training. As you can see, good sleep has a huge effect on our body. And if you want to know more about what is actually happening in detail while we sleep, again, there's a great book I can recommend to you. It's How We Sleep, and explains it a lot. I think it's called the Great Book of Sleep. I'll just link it and show it here. And definitely one book I can highly recommend. So in the end, I just want to say, trying to have a good sleep schedule, going to bed early, waking up at a reasonable time, having enough sleep, overall makes you stronger, makes you more fit, makes you more motivated actually to perform a task, to solve a problem, or to go for your training and exercise the next day. And you will also be more focused, more mentally alert, and just physically stronger if you can maintain a good sleep. And I can highly recommend that. Maybe one last tip I can give is, you probably heard about blue light and how it is affecting the melatonin production in your body, or blocking the melatonin production in your body. And therefore what you should try is use the blue light filter on your screen, on your monitors or your phone, or not use any kind of screen at all 1 hour before you go to bed. And maybe already have some kind of a sleep routine. I don't know what you're doing. you light a candle, you listen to chill out music. I don't know, you drink a cup of lavender or chamomile tea, whatever it is. Nothing is wrong. Whatever works for you is okay and is good, okay? But maybe you can kind of create like a habit that already gets you in the mood. Okay, I'm going to sleep now, I'm going to bed soon, because that way you put your body already in that state of, okay, I'm gonna drive down my heart rate now, I'm gonna relax, I'm gonna chill out, and I'm getting ready to sleep, and maybe all the thoughts that you have you can go through them. Maybe if there's still something that is bothering you about tomorrow's day, write it down, and so you get it out of your mind. This is what I did when I was working in project management. Sometimes the task for the next day kept me awake, and I sometimes had a hard time to fall asleep. So I just wrote these things down, and that way it felt like, you know, I pulled them out of my mind, you know, like Dumbledore pulling the memory out of his mind. And yeah, sometimes that helps. It helped for me, but yeah, maybe it helps for you as well. And that way, you know, you already get into the mood of falling asleep, and that way maybe you have good sleep. I do that also with training. I told you before, sometimes if I'm not in the mood for training, but I know I want to go for training or I have to, I just put on the kind of music that gets me motivated to do my training. And then yeah, after I hear the music for 5 minutes, I'm already hyped up, and I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna run today. No, this is how I trick myself, you know. I sometimes have to find a way around my own laziness, but yeah, with these little tools, with these little tricks, I can manage to get the things done I should do. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about sleep quality and sleep cycles. This is super theoretical, and I cannot go into too much detail. Again, look at the book that I recommended to you. But as far as I know or understand it, our body has sleep cycles, you know, light sleep, REM sleep, deep sleep, and then the cycle goes back again to, I think, maybe REM sleep, light sleep. Yeah, or another way around. But yeah, actually, usually, you know, the median is that we have sleep cycles that last about for 1.5 hours. So if you can manage to sleep a multiple of 1.5 hours, it's always better to have something in between. Maybe you know the feeling if you were laying down on the couch for an hour and you feel more exhausted than you have been if you slept maybe 1.5 hours or maybe only half an hour. This is because of those sleep cycles. And yeah, therefore, you know, it's more beneficial for your body if you wake up after a REM sleep phase or during a light sleep phase, and not while your body is in deep sleep. If you wake up in a deep sleep phase, you will feel very fatigued, exhausted, and very tired. And yeah, I can recommend that you try to figure out those sleep cycles. And yes, maybe you have the chance to have a multiple of 1.5 hours. That is usually very helpful. Yeah, but again, everybody works different. Cristiano Ronaldo, for example, has a super crazy sleep habit and sleep schedule. So yeah, maybe you want to learn more about that. And yeah, you have to just figure out what works well for you. What I also do, for example, my watch tracks my sleep. It tells me how much I was moving during the night, how active or inactive I was, how deep my sleep was, how long my REM sleep was, how often I was in a light sleep phase, or even slightly awake, even though I didn't notice it. And it also tracks my heart rate or the heartbeat, you know, not the pulse. It does that as well, but also how long one beat was and how it actually was, you know. And if the heartbeat itself, you know, like is too short, that is also a sign that you are maybe fatigued or you are too stressed, you know. Or if the heartbeat is too long, like this can also be a sign that something's wrong with your mental or physical state. So yeah, my watch tracks that. There's a lot of sleep trackers out there. Watches can do that, but also rings and other gadgets can help you track your sleep if you want to know more about it. But you can also just do it without a electronic gadget and try to observe yourself and see how you're feeling if you stick to certain rules. All right, I think that is enough talk about sleep. As you can see, It's getting late. The sun is already going down, and yeah, I still haven't done my running exercise yet. So it's 6:30 p.m. and I usually try to go to bed between 10 and 11 p.m. So yeah, that means if I work out now, that's still enough time so my body can, you know, slow down, phase out, and that way I'm not too hyped when I go to bed. But anyways, today is only a recovery day. The reason is I told you guys that I was thinking about climbing Mulacent today, but yeah, and this is the reason why I recorded this video and talked about sleep. This morning I felt, I was too sleepy. I didn't have enough sleep during the night because I was staying up late. I was watching too much Netflix and went to bed too late. So therefore I stick to my rule. I was sleeping enough. I had my 8 hours, but it was just too late during the day. And I also could feel that my body is still tired. It was not good sleep. And so I decided today I'm not going to the mountains running on 3,500 meters, but instead I'll do a slow regeneration run, 6-minute pace, 10K today, 60 minutes, super chill. And that's what I'm gonna do now. All right, guys. After that, I'm gonna do my little exercise, but I'm not gonna record all that jazz. And yeah, talk to you tomorrow. Bye bye.